Hey folks, my name is Emily and welcome. This is 108 Stitches, which is a mostly knitting video podcast, sometimes with some other crafting, and sometimes I also chat about baseball and a variety of other life-related things, baking, yeah, just what we've been up to. So I live in Seattle, Washington with my husband Nofis and our pup Norman, who I have his blanket up here. Those of you who have been watching the podcast for a while may recognize the blanket that Norman likes to cover himself up with. But I'm hoping he'll come up and visit us in a little bit because I need him to actually model one of my finished objects today. So we'll see if I can coax him into coming and being a model with us in a little bit. But yeah, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in today. This is episode 26. Wowie, 26 episodes, and it is almost my first anniversary of making this podcast. So I actually started it, I think, right around my dad's birthday, which is September 2nd. So I think I may have either recorded my first episode on the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd. I can't quite remember. I'll have to go back and look, but it is almost the 1 year anniversary of 108 Stitches, which I just cannot believe. It feels like it's gone by so fast, but thank you so much to all of you who have been here for the beginning, or those of you that have just, this is your first episode that you've ever watched. Thank you. I love sharing the stuff I'm working on with you. I love hearing from all of you, and yeah, doing this podcast has brought me so much more joy than I ever could have expected. So thank you. Today is August, I guess I should have said that. Today is August 29th, so we're coming up on the end of August, going into September, and I have some fun stuff to share with you all this week. A couple of extras though, some fun extra things before I get into the usual like finished objects and whips and acquisitions and all of that. But first I just wanted to start by sharing that we are going to do a knit along. We're going to do a knit along for the Stripey Turtle Tank, so I'll try to do the whole Stripey Turtle Tank spiel very quickly here. The Stripey Turtle Tank is a pattern, my very first ever pattern that I designed. If you've been watching this channel or follow me on Instagram or any of that, you know all about it already. It is a little cropped tank with a mock neck collar, and it's stripey. And I released the pattern almost a month ago now, toward the beginning of August, and I also had kits available. Norman, hey, come here. Why don't you come here? He's looking for his blanket. I'll let him have the blanket in the bed, but only if you come up later to model, okay? Anyway, so yes, I released the pattern in early August, and I've already seen a ton of you have started casting it on, or have purchased the pattern or favorited or queued it on Ravelry. All of that stuff just means the world to me. But also at the time of release, Melanie of Big Little Yarn Co. did a pre-order for some kits, and she has been dyeing up the yarn for those kits and will be shipping those out to you all, but I don't think any of them have been shipped yet, and so you know, none of the folks that have ordered the yarn should have it yet. So I wanted to give a little bit of time so that folks who ordered the kits will be able to have those come in, and then they can get started and participate in the knit along. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start the knit along pretty soon, and then we're going to have it run for a long time so that folks who are really excited about the pattern now are welcome to participate now, and then also those of you that are waiting on yarn, or maybe just like have some other stuff that you're working on and that you're like trying to finish up, will have time and can cast on a little bit later and still participate. So we're going to start the knit along this Friday, September 3rd, which is close to the anniversary of 108 Stitches, which I don't know, I felt like that was kind of fun too. So we're going to start the knit along. This is my first ever knit along as well, so I don't know what I'm doing. We're going to do our best here, but we're going to start September 3rd, and then it's going to run all the way through September and October and end October 29th. So that's also a Friday. So I'll put the details below, but we're going to start this Friday and then end Friday, October 29th. And this knit along is going to be on Instagram. So the way that we're going to do it, there's a hashtag, and I'll include it below as well, or maybe I'll try to put it on the screen as well so you guys can see it. The hashtag is Stripey Turtle KAL. And that's what we'll use. And then there are going to be some prizes. I have one of the prizes already that I shared you guys with you before. It's actually this beautiful yarn from the Woolberry Under the Sea collection. I have this berry cashmere, which is so soft, y'all. This is a really nice base in the colorway Escape. And then I also have the Fish Are Friends mini skein set. So I really love this yarn, but I thought it would be a perfect giveaway for this. If you finish your stripy turtle tank and decide you want to knit another one, this would be great for that. But also, I mean, there are tons of really fun mini skein projects, and I have, made potentially some other ideas for designs that might incorporate scraps or mini skeins. So this could be used for one of those down the road if I ever get those ideas out of my head and into a knitted garment or into a pattern form. That would be something that you could do with this. So this is one of the prizes. We may have some more prizes, and I'm just going to work on starting to collect those, but we've got some time. So yeah, other just general rules for the knit along. It is going to be really relaxed. Works in progress are welcome. So if you have already started a stripy turtle tank and you want to participate, go for it. The only, the way that you enter or, join the knit along, if you will, is just use the hashtag on Instagram. So just anytime you post a photo of your progress or, any of that, use the hashtag Stripey Turtle KAL. We will do only one entry per person, so you're welcome to use the hashtag multiple times, post multiple times, but you'll only get entered for prizes once. But it'll be really fun. I think on Instagram, we can use the hashtag to follow along with each other. I can post some folks' progress so that we can all kind of see it together. And I'm probably going to cast on another stripy turtle tank. Probably not right now because I've got other stuff going on, but before the end of the knit along, I'm going to knit another one too. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be really fun. If you want to participate, get ready. Friday's the day we're going to get started. And hopefully those of you who are waiting on yarn or just have some other stuff to finish first will be able to get all your stuff together and ready and participate before the end of October. So yeah, I know the timing is maybe a little bit funny for a knitted tank, but I know folks were excited since I released the pattern. In August, folks were excited about doing a knit along. I know it's maybe not the best time to be knitting a tank top because summer is about to leave us behind. But I love to wear the tank or the stripy turtle tank as like a vest. I also think it's like a really lovely layering piece. So something definitely that you can wear in the fall, or you can knit it up and then you'll be all ready for next spring and summer. So yeah, I'm so excited. I hope you guys are excited too. And let me know if you have any questions about it. I'm going to post on Instagram before Friday with all the details as well. So follow me on there. My Instagram is @MWeKurt. That information is also below. And yeah, I hope you're excited. I sure am. So yeah, that was one thing I wanted to talk about. The other thing, so there are two other things I want to talk about before we get into finished objects. So hang in with me. I promise I have other stuff. I have some knitting and stuff to share, but I had a couple other things that I thought were, well, okay, one of them's fun and one of them's sad. And should we do good news or bad news first? Let's do bad news and then we'll finish with the good news, okay? So bad news is, if you all watched my previous episode, you heard me talk about that brioche sweater that ended up just being way too big for me. So a lot of you had suggestions about things that I could try or things that I could check. And one thing that I realized that I could do that would, was a really easy thing to check would be to check the gauge of the sweater that I knit versus my swatch to see if for some reason, like if I accidentally knit it with a different needle size or if something weird happens. So I did that, and I actually still have my swatch. I have ripped out the sweater. So yeah, if you are unfamiliar, I think if you don't know what I'm talking about right now, the best thing for you to do would be to go back and watch previous episode, because I talk a lot about this sweater that ended up really big and I was unsure what to do about it, and I decided to rip it out. So I have ripped it out. I have all the yarn here, very sadly, under my table. It's all here. It's all been caked back up. But I still have my swatch. And before I ripped it out, I compared the gauge in my sweater and the gauge to my swatch, and they were the same. I had the exact same gauge in the swatch and the sweater. So I was like, that's really curious. I wonder what happened. So then I took that gauge and I compared it to the gauge on the pattern, and it was really off. And y'all, I think what happened is that I knit a swatch and then I just didn't pay attention to it. Like, I just didn't compare it to the gauge on the pattern. I didn't do the math to figure out if I was right. I didn't do the math if I needed to do a different size or whatever. I just knit the swatch and was like, all right, it's time to go. And then I just cast on what would have been my size. Like, I just didn't do the part where you actually pay attention to the swatch that you knit. And you just, like, I just didn't compare it to my gauge. Because if I had, I would have, like, either knit a different size or, like, gone down a needle or whatever. But I did not do that because I don't want to say I'm very dumb, but I will say that is a very dumb and careless thing to do. Like, what's the point of knitting a swatch if you're not going to pay attention to it? So I'm very frustrated with myself that happened, but I know what to do for now. So yeah, I compared my gauge. I think it's off enough that I'm not going to be able to just, like, sometimes, I don't know if y'all ever do this, but if my gauge is off, I'll look at which direction it's off, and then I'll just knit either, like, one size bigger than I normally would have or one size smaller than I normally would have. You can do some math and figure out, like, based on how many stitches you should have at the body and your gauge, like, how big the body will be. And then you can figure out, like, which size is going to be the best fit for you. So I'll sometimes just, like, knit a different size, which I know is kind of scary and, like, maybe doesn't always work out because the whole garment isn't proportionally the same. I don't know if you all know what I'm talking about at all, but basically my gauge is so off that I can't even do that. Like, I knit the third size, and even if I knit the smallest size, like the first size with this gauge, I think it would still be bigger than I want it to be. Only a little bit, it'd be close. So I'm gonna go down a needle size and then and swatch again, and then probably knit either the first or second size. So we'll see. But I talked last time about maybe, like, just casting this right back on and, like, trying to really stick with it. And after I ripped it out, it was late and I was like, I'm not going to cast this on right away. And then the next day I was like, I don't know. I just wasn't ready for it. I felt like I needed a break. So I'm taking a break from it. And I have cast on another sweater that I will share with you all in a little bit. And that one is, I feel like, yeah, refueling me. It's giving me the energy that I need right now. And then after I finish that one, maybe I'll revisit this one. Or maybe I'll go do something else. I don't know. I will revisit this one. I know I will at this point. I really want this sweater. But I just needed a break from it. So anyway, that is what happened with my brioche sweater. The last little extra update that I had was something very sweet and fun. I don't know if you all remember, it was a while ago. I think it was actually a couple months ago in, like, June maybe. I finished the Poet Shawl by Starry Nordland, and I knit it out of Brooklyn Tweed Loft in the Iceberg colorway. And it was this nice big, like, light blue shawl. It had lace on one side. It was a big triangle shawl. And at the time when I knit it, it was, like, I think it turned out really beautifully, but I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to wear this. Like, this doesn't seem like something I'm going to wear. It's, like, a little bit scratchy. It was really warm, but it wasn't super soft. I was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to wear this. So I talked about that on the podcast, and my Grammy actually watches the podcast, and she, like, texted me and asked if she could buy the shawl for me because she thought it was lovely and wanted to wear it to keep warm. She, like me, we are both people who are always cold. So yeah, she asked if she could buy the shawl, and I was like, you cannot buy it, but you can definitely have it. And so I shipped it to her, and she's been wearing it and sent me the sweetest picture of her, you know, all cuddled up with it, which I'll try to include here as well. But I just love that. I love the way that it worked out, that even though it wasn't something that was meant for me, that it found a lovely home with my Grammy. And yeah, she says that she's been wearing it and loving it. So I'm really happy about that. So yes, Poet Shawl found a loving home, and that I'm very happy about. Right, so I think that's all I had in just extra kind of updates. So why don't we go ahead and get into the knitting stuff. So I have one finished object this week, and it's actually something that you all haven't seen before. And it is a sweater for Norman. It's a dog sweater. And this is actually a pattern I test knit for Jaqueline Cieslak. And I've knit some of her other patterns that I've really liked. My Plover cardigan was a pattern of hers, and you may be familiar. Oh, I also knit the Rift Tee, which was one of her patterns. And you may be familiar with her like Ursa pattern, which actually kind of, this dog sweater, I don't know if you can see it from the light, but there's kind of like that triangle detail on the bottom of the dog sweater that like matches the Ursa, which is very fun. But yeah, I knit this dog sweater for Norman. This is size 7, and it is knit out of, I held Plymouth DK. I don't know what the colorway is, just like a blue color. And some leftover mohair I had. This is the Biches Petit silk mohair in the dark blue turquoise colorway. So yes, Norman is getting a luxury sweater here. It turns out, well, I mean, I already knew this. Norman does not love to wear clothes. So I don't think he's super appreciative of how luxurious this sweater is, but that's fine. But I tried it on him. It fits. Let's see if I can get, let's see. I may be disrupting him from his nap, so he's not going to like me very much. And then I'm going to put a sweater on him, but let's see if he'll come visit. Norman, hi, buddy. Hey, can you come here? I would love to show the friends your sweater. Come here. Hi. Here's Norman. Say hi. Thank you for the kisses. Okay, can we try on your sweater? Why don't you sit right here and we'll put it on, okay? You sit right here. Stay here. No, stay here. I don't think he wants to wear the sweater. Stay here. Hey, Norman, sit. Good boy. Okay. We'll put it, oh, no. We'll put it on and then you can go, okay? Ready? He's so cute in it. I really wanted you all to see it. And then I will let him go. But here he is in his little sweater. Here's Norm. I don't know if y'all can see it. Here, can you do a spin? A little spin move? No? Okay, sit. Oh, look at how handsome you look. I don't know if you guys can see the color very well. Maybe we'll hold Norman up. Here he is. No? Can I put you on the table here? Okay, well, we're not doing a great job here. But here's Norman in his dog sweater, which I think fits really well. And I don't think he loves it. And I don't think he loves that I interrupted his nap. But it's got a nice, like, half brioche kind of underside. And then it has this nice triangle detail at the back. And it fits him really well. This, again, is the size 7, which I think gives him, like, roughly 0 ease. Okay. I'm going to take it off, and I'm going to let you go. How about that? Does that sound good? Stay here. I'm going to take it off. I know you don't want it on. Norman, sit. Okay. Let's take it off. And then you can leave. Yeah. We don't have a super willing model, and that's okay. Okay. He's done. He's so done with me. But yeah, that is my finished object for this week. This one actually also I had turmoil. Y'all, my knitting has been a struggle recently. I think you can hear Norman drinking water. He was thirsty. But yeah, my knitting has been a struggle. I cast this on like shortly after receiving the pattern and was cruising on it. I was going to finish it in like 3 or 4 days or something. I mean, it's small and it's with like DK worsted weight yarn. And so I cast it on. We started the neck here and I got all the way down and I finished the body and I was picking up these little armholes to knit the armholes. And I picked up one and I finished the armhole and I went to the other and I was like, this is weird. This has fewer stitches than it should. And it's like off center. And I realized that I had, when you like leave stitches on hold for like the armholes and then you like keep going and then you go back to that hole and pick up the stitches for the arms. I had done that both the wrong number of stitches and in the wrong place. So the armholes were not even. I don't know how I did that. I think I just looked at the directions for the wrong size when I did it. And so that was very disappointing. So what I had to do, I was basically maybe 20 minutes away from being completely done with the sweater, and instead I had to rip it all the way back, rip out the little armholes I'd done, rip the sweater, the body all the way back to here, about maybe 30% into the sweater, 25% into the sweater, and it took me another couple days to finish. So, huge bummer. And I don't know if this happens to you, like if you make a mistake like that and you have to go back, every time I was knitting on it after that, I was thinking like, oh, what I could be knitting instead of this. Like if I hadn't messed that up, I could be knitting on something else right now. Like how much progress could I be making on that other thing? I don't know if anyone else does that, but that was a bummer. But I finished it. The sweater is complete. Norman will have a cozy sweater that he doesn't like to wear in the winter. But Norman normally wears like a jacket when we go outside in winter. Anytime it's under like 40 degrees, it's too cold for him, so we put on like a little jacket, and I think when it's not raining, this one will be a nice one to put on him. It's like nice and snug, and I think it'll be really warm. It'll be warmer than his other stuff. So yes, that is my only finished object, and then I have some works in progress. Very quickly, I was going to show you all an update on my socks. I have not put a ton of work in these, but I finished the leg. I'm doing like shorter socks. So I finished the leg, I got it to the length that I wanted. So these are, I'm just doing like a broken rib sock, and this is Grenouille in her old 7525 merino nylon sock base in the colorway Lampblack, which is a beautiful gray. And yeah, so I just finished doing like the little top part, the leg, and then I have now started the heel flap. I don't know if this will focus today or if we're gonna have trouble again. Like last week was a mess. Yeah, you can't really see it. There we go. So yeah, this is Lampblack, and then I just started the heel flap. I have not made a ton of progress. But yeah, that's my very, very quick update on those socks. I haven't been knitting on them very much. And then I have 2 other works in progress I'm going to share with you. One is the Luminaria Shawl by Lindsey Fowler that I shared with you all last week for the first time. Here it is. This is my progress so far. So I haven't knit on this a ton actually, but it is like really addicting. I feel like it's very potato chippy. I always like want to get to the next color. So this is a shawl pattern by Lindsey Fowler that she designed to go along with Woolberry's Advent last year. I am using, for the main color, this is leftover from my soiree sweater, and this is Viola sock in the Silverbirch colorway, and I showed you kind of a close-up last episode. It's kind of just like a creamy tan, and it has some speckles in it of like orange and pink. I think it goes really well with some of my Advent minis from my Grenouille Advent last year. So I don't know if you can see in there. Oops, I'm dropping some. But I picked out all the ones that are kind of like blue or green or orange. So I went through all of these last episode, so I won't go through them all again, but I got like some blue ones. And yeah, these are the blues. And then I got some green ones. These ones are all kind of greenish. And then I have, this one is like blue and orange. And this one is like an orangey one. And yeah, I am changing color based on just using a random number generator, which is something I've never done before. And I am loving it. It's so much fun. The only rule that I set for myself is I'm not going to do the same color twice. I did end up doing two similar colors right next to each other. I just ended with two blues. You can see they're different. They're these two. So they're different, but they're similar. So I was like, oh, a little uneasy. Like, I don't know if I would have done that myself if I was doing it, but I think it'll all work out. It'll be fun. And I'm about to do, I just did the random number generator. I'm about to do this color next. This is going to be my first repeat. This is actually the first color that I put in the shawl right up here. And it is With Nail, I think is the name of the color. Let me give you all a close-up of the shawl because it's so pretty. Hopefully we'll get focus here. Wow, look at that. No, I'm really enjoying this pattern. Like, I feel like it's really cute. But yeah, that is the Luminaria shawl. And I'm hoping to make more progress on that soon. A lot of my knitting energy this week did go into that dog sweater, knitting it basically twice in the last couple weeks. And then my last whip is actually a new cast on that I'm excited to share with you all. I cast on the Woodwardia sweater, which is a sweater pattern by Lydia Gluck. And it is in the Pom Pom book, Ready, Set, Raglan. I think I got this book as a gift from my Grammy for Christmas last year. But this is the book. And it's just a really great book that has a ton of pretty basic raglan patterns in it with like different stitch patterns. And it also talks a lot about like how to modify the elements to get a sweater that you love. So this is Woodwardia, which is a raglan that has this really nice fern detail on the raglan increases. Let me see if I can get this to focus so you guys can see the detail. Maybe, there we go. So can you see like the purl ridges here are kind of making like a fern pattern. I'm not sure if you can see that very well, this yarn. I don't know if it showcases it super well, but I really love the yarn and make it like a little muddy and lost in there. Here's another one. Also, I think it's like backlit weird, so it's like hard to tell. But yeah, this yarn is, I'm in love with the yarn. I love this yarn. This is, I guess all my works in progress this right now are using Grenouille yarn, which is not a surprise because I love Grenouille and I love her yarn. Steph is amazing, but this is Grenouille DK, which is an 8515, and I love this base. It's really squishy, soft. I love working with it, and this is in the colorway Wormwood, which is just this beautiful. Let me give you a close up here just of the skein. We gotta do it for the thumbnail, y'all. Let's see here. Full focus, yeah. There we go. Ooh, look at that. Beautiful, like minty with like darker speckles and some like bright blue speckles, which are just so cool. So yeah, this is Wormwood. I actually asked Steph if she would dye this for me, and I got it a little while ago. Oh, focus. and it's just so lovely. I love it so much, and I'm really enjoying the way it's working up. But yes, I am knitting the Woodwardia raglan, and I just started a couple days ago, so I haven't made a ton of progress, but I'm really enjoying it so far. The yarn is really lovely to work with, and the pattern has been fun. And I'm participating, actually, I need to go in and share about it, but I am knitting this as part of Stacy's Patreon. Stacy from Stress Knits, Stacy Elstone from Stress Knits Yarn. She is doing a Patreon knit along where you knit kind of any kind of like a wardrobe staple. And so one of the patterns she suggested for that was Woodwardia, and that is a pattern that I've had on my list for a long time. And so I'm really excited to be knitting it right now. And I think it's just knitting up really lovely. I'm about to switch it, I think, to a larger cable so that I have a little bit more room for my stitches, but I think it's turning out really nice and I'm pretty happy with it. So that is my last work in progress. I am also still working on my Mariner's cowl, but I'm not quite caught up with that. I've added some rows since I showed it to you all last episode, but not a ton, so I thought I wouldn't show that to you again. Once I make more progress, I will share it again, maybe in a couple weeks. But yeah, I also have some acquisitions to share again. I mentioned last episode, I think, that I had been participating in the Puget Sound local yarn store tour, and if you follow me on Instagram and watch my stories, you will definitely have seen all of my adventures to the yarn stores over the last couple weekends. And so I ended up going to 19 yarn stores as part of the Puget Sound local yarn store tour, which is an event that they do every year. I think we didn't do it last year, but I went in 2019 as well. And yeah, a lot of the yarn stores in the area participate. Each store has some featured yarn and a featured pattern, and you just kind of get to go around. You get stamps on your piece of paper to see how many stores you went to, and then you can enter into like raffles, kind of like prize drawings at the end based on how many stores you went to. So my plan was to try to go to all 20. There were 20 yarn stores participating this year, and I ended up getting to 19. I was one short. I ended up not being able to make it to one of the ones that was kind of like on the islands in the Puget Sound, because with the ferry schedule, and we had to make reservations, and the reservations were booked when I wanted to go, and like all of that, it was just kind of logistically too tough to get to that one. So I think I'll end up going to that store another time because I really want to check it out. But I did not make it to one store, but I went to the other 19 and I saw some beautiful stores. I got some beautiful yarn and some other fun like notions and tools and stuff as well. So it was really great fun. I had some of my knitting friends in the area join me for some of the stores, which was really fun. And yeah, I acquired some more yarn that I wanted to share with you all. So I have here the rest of I think if you're interested in seeing the yarn I got at the first weekend of the tour, check out last episode because I think I shared that yarn in my last episode. But this one is just the yarn that I got on the second weekend. So I went to the rest of the stores last weekend, and this is the yarn that I got. So I got some beautiful gray yarn from Fidalgo, which is a yarn store in Anacortes. And they had this sample of the butterfly shawl, which I think was like really popular a while ago. It's like a short row shawl, and it looks like the wings of a butterfly. It was really pretty. And this store was gorgeous too. All the yarn that they carry was hand dyed by the store's owner, and it was mostly kind of like tonals and solid colors, and their color palette was just beautiful. Their yarn was really beautiful, and you know me, I really love gray. I think all of my acquisitions are like gray or blue or like maybe kind of like a mustardy or like an orange color. Like I love gray, I love blue, but I got this beautiful gray yarn from Fidalgo, and it's just so beautiful, like a semi-solid gray. Kind of reminds me of Lampblack, actually. So that was my first acquisition, and then I also got, so We went to Acorn Street. This one was at Acorn Street, I think, which is a yarn store in Seattle, in kind of like close to the university. And I got this really unique yarn. This is from Blufiber. And this yarn, actually, the colorway is called Seattle Skyline. It's like a nice pale gray with specks of like blue and green. Very much reminds me of kind of like Seahawks colors, actually. And the little green specks, like you can see these little tiny speckles here. I don't know if it'll focus. Maybe. But there are all these little speckles in here. It will focus. Yeah. You can see all the little speckles, and all of the little green speckles actually glow under UV light, which is so fun. They had a little UV flashlight there that we could see how it glows. It is really cool, y'all. I really enjoyed that. So my friend and I each got a skein of this yarn. I think she got a different colorway though. Hers is like greener. And we, oh, focus please. Please, I'm right here. Okay. We are planning to knit maybe socks or like maybe like a crop top or something, and then go like bowling or roller skating or somewhere where there's like a UV light, so that we can see our clothes glow. So I thought that was really fun. Also at one of the yarn stores, I think this was one on Whidbey Island, I got this beautiful hand-dyed yarn. This is Willow on the Water. And I love like a neutral with light speckling. I just really do. So this is a sock yarn. This is 8515 merino nylon. It's a 4-ply, beautiful speckles. Try to give you a little bit more of a close-up here. This one actually had some turmoil as well. Norman found this skein of yarn. And he normally doesn't get into my yarn. Like, he doesn't, like, try to rip it up or, like, chew it or anything. But he found it, and somehow I think he was playing with it. I think he thought it was a toy for some reason. And he was kind of, I guess he was whipping it around. I'm not sure how he got it or, like, what happened. But Nalthus found it last night and, like, brought it up to me. And it was, like, it looked like a tangled mess. But I found, like, kind of where one of the loops was, and I pulled it out and, like, you know, stretched it a couple times, and it was fine. There were no problems with it. I guess he had just kind of, I don't know, moved it around a little bit, but the yarn was fine. So that one, and then my last yarn acquisition was from the Nifty Knitter, which is a yarn store in Issaquah, and I got some beautiful DK yarn from, they have an in-house dyer as well, or a dyer that's like only sells at their yarn store. This one got some like grass on it or something. I must have put it in a bag that had like grass or something in it. But their dyer is Meeker Street, and I got 3 colors of their DK base. This one is Olive's Outerwear. Oh no, sorry, that's the base name, is Olive's Outerwear. This colorway is Cornflower. This one is Midnight, and then this one is Hold Up Beyonce. And I actually have this color in another base that I've knit with before, but I really want to do another brioche shawl, similar to the Plumpy, and actually I think this color palette is somewhat similar to the color palette that I used for the Plumpy, so I guess I have a type, but I'm not sure what pattern I'll use, so if you guys have any suggestions for DK weight brioche patterns. I really love the Brioche-alicious by Andrea Mowry. I know it's for fingering weight, but I'm considering just knitting it in DK weight instead. I know I'd have to get a main color, so I could use these as the 3 contrast colors, and if I got 2 skeins in DK, maybe like a light gray or like creamy kind of color, I think that would be a really fun main color. And then do this together for the Brioche-alicious. I'd have to adjust the pattern. Like, I couldn't do as many rows because the weight would be different, but I feel like that would turn out really cute. So maybe I'll do that, or maybe I'll find another pattern. I'm not sure. But yeah, that was my yarn that I acquired. The other things that I got, I actually got a needle case, and this is, oh my goodness, I lost the tag and I don't remember Ooh, this is gonna bother me. I don't remember. There's no chance I'll remember the needle case. I'll try to look it up and then we'll include in the description box below. But I got a needle case for just kind of all my fixed circular needles. I didn't have anywhere to put them, so I put all my fixed circular needles in here. It's like a nice accordion style. Also put in like my DPNs, my crochet hooks. I have like a needle gauge in here. I have my like cable needles. So all the kind of like extra needles and stuff that don't go in my normal needle case. So this one is my twig and horn interchangeable needle case, which I really love. And then, so like any of my tools and stuff that are not interchangeable needles, I put in here. And so I have two that have like all my needles in them now, and I really like that. I think that works out really well. So I got that. And then I also got a Cocoa Knit stitch counter, which I've already used a ton. I used to just go in my phone in like the notes app and like write down which row I just finished or whatever, but I love using this. This is just like a little stitch counter. I don't want to click it because it's keeping track of which row I'm on right now, but you just like click this button at the top. I don't know if y'all can see it actually. I should scoot up a little bit, but it's just like a little stitch counter. See if this will focus. Maybe not. You can't really tell what it is like this. Oh, there we go. Yeah, so it's just a little stitch counter. You can like click this thing at the top and it will increase. And there's like a lock on the bottom as well so that you can, if you're gonna throw it in a bag or whatever, you can just lock it and make sure that it doesn't keep clicking in there. Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I've used it a ton already, and I may get another one because if I have multiple projects, like I want to be able to have one stitch counter per project so that I can leave it on the stitch number that I'm on, or the row number. So yeah, this has been really fun and useful. And that is really all the acquisitions I have. So I know that this has been a long one. I had some life stuff that I was going to share, just like what we've been up to the last couple weeks that I would love to share with you all. So if you're interested in that, stay tuned and I'll keep chatting for a little bit longer. But if you are not interested in that, thank you so much for tuning in. But yeah, I am done with knitting content for now. A couple things I want to share about. So I didn't talk a ton about baseball this episode, but there's one kind of like baseball related program that I wanted to talk about, and if you all follow me on Instagram, you may have already seen me share some stuff about this, but the Mariners have a program called the Hometown 9 that I think I've talked about before on the podcast, and I know I've talked about on Instagram and stuff as well, which is a really incredible program. Basically, the Mariners accept 9 Black 8th graders every year that play baseball or softball, and support them in a variety of ways, whether it be through like financial support, because playing baseball and softball, especially like competitively or kind of at the travel level when you're, you know, in middle school, high school, is really expensive. Just the cost of the equipment, the cost of travel, the cost of all kinds of stuff. So there's some financial support involved, but also the part of the program that I really love and I'm excited to be a part of is the Mariners pair each student with 2 mentors, and those mentors are front office members. So folks who work for the Mariners, like full-time employees of the Mariners, get to, can apply to be mentors for these students. And I feel so lucky that I got to be a mentor, or I am a mentor for one of the students in the first Mariners Hometown 9 class, and I just have really loved being a part of that program. And so this program has been going on for about a year, and they are welcoming the 2nd class of students in. They just announced those students, and at the Mariners game this last Friday, those students, the 10 new students, so actually normally it's 9 students per year, we had 9 students in the first class and one of them moved away. So now we have 8 students participating from the first class. They had 10 students come in for the 2nd class. And so we had 10 students that all at the same time threw out the first pitch at the Mariners game this Friday. And so they asked some of the current students as well as some of the mentors to come and catch the first pitch, which was really fun. I will see if I can include the video here. If you follow me on Instagram, you may have seen it. So.
Great pitches and welcome to the talk. Once again, the Hometown 9 class of 2026.
I got to catch the first pitch from one of the incoming Hometown 9 students, which was so much fun. She threw a perfect pitch to me and I caught it and I was so pumped. But it was just really fun, and yeah, just being a part of this program has been really incredible. It's, you know, these kids are remarkable. They're so amazing, and getting to spend time with them and like really, you know, support them has been such an incredible experience. So I'm really excited to continue being a part of the program. And if any of you are interested, take a look up the Mariners Hometown 9. You can see the students that are selected to last year's class and also this upcoming class. And yeah, so I wanted to share about that. Other stuff that we've been up to, for those of you who follow our Sunday breakfast baking and cooking shenanigans, today is Sunday, so we made quiche again for breakfast. That's one of our favorites. We revisit quiche quite a bit. So had quiche today. Also yesterday we celebrated one of my friend's birthdays, and I made some chocolate orange brownies that actually turned out really good. I thought they were really good. So that was fun. So that's kind of all we, oh, the other thing is we actually just got a new, so in office, my husband is like a huge fan of the toaster oven. I never as a kid, like we never had a toaster oven. We had like the oven and we had a toaster and we had the microwave, but we didn't have a toaster oven. But in office swears by the toaster oven. And so when we like moved in together, he like had the toaster oven. And I started using his toaster oven some. It's really great for like reheating foods that you don't want to get soggy in the microwave or whatever. It's good for that. You don't need a toaster if you have it. Like you can use it as a toaster. And so ours, it was kind of small and it was kind of old. And so I also really wanted an air fryer. I don't know if any of you have an air fryer or use it to like, you know, fry food rather than doing it in oil. But we got a new toaster oven combination air fryer. So it can do, you know, a bake setting, a toast setting, an air fry setting, an air roast setting. I think it can like dehydrate too. So we could like dehydrate fruit or whatever if we wanted to as well. But we've started trying some new stuff in the air fryer. We made chicken wings in the air fryer and that turned out really good. We also did some like zucchini fries. You like slice up zucchini and then you kind of bread them in like egg and breadcrumbs and cheese, and then you put them in the air fryer, and that was really good, like way better than I expected. Definitely a palatable way to eat vegetables. So but yeah, that has been really fun, just trying stuff in the air fryer. Let's see what else. I talked about going on the yarn store tour, so that was the last couple weekends. I also went to my first ever Seahawks game last weekend. So I'm not a huge NFL football fan. I follow, like I play fantasy football and stuff as well, but I don't have like a team that I'm super invested in. Grew up in Oklahoma, for those of you that don't know, and there's not an NFL team in Oklahoma. And so we moved to Seattle. I'm like kind of invested in the Seahawks, but like not super invested. So yeah, I mean, we've been trying to get into it a little more, and Nofis is a pretty big NFL fan as well, although he also doesn't really have a team, but he just like follows the NFL pretty closely. He also plays fantasy football and stuff. So we had been wanting to go to a game, but like the Seahawks games are pretty expensive, and anyway, we got a pretty good deal on some preseason tickets, and so we went to a preseason game last week, and it was really fun. The atmosphere was really great, and I think we're going to try to go to a regular season game this season as well, just to kind of get the full experience. The Seahawks lost by quite a bit when we were there, and the concession lines were really long, and I waited in a very long line to get some food. But otherwise, yeah, it was a really fun experience. We had a good time, and I think we'll definitely go again. I'd never been inside of, I guess it's not CenturyLink anymore. It's called Lumen Field now, but it was a cool stadium. It it was a fun experience. So I think we'll go back. Okay. Quickly, a couple of things I also had noted down. I haven't talked about this in a while, but I have been continuing to do my book club. So I have 2 book clubs that I participate in pretty regularly. One is with my family, and we do like a lot of young adult kind of fantasy or like sci-fi. And then I am in another book club with some friends, and we also do not necessarily young adult, but we do like a lot of sci-fi as well in that book club. And we just finished a book in my family book club called Little Fires Everywhere, which is a just like a novel, a fiction. It's not a sci-fi or fantasy. It's just like a realistic fiction. I think it's characterized as realistic fiction. I wouldn't say that the story was super realistic, but yeah, it was pretty good. We just finished that. I will say, I don't want to give anything away. I really, we discussed the book today, and I think a lot of us really enjoyed the beginning of the book, and we're like ready for it to have this like really epic ending. And I think the ending was a little bit disappointing. But if you're interested, yeah, check that out. And then for my other book club, we are about to start reading 2001: A Space Odyssey, which I have watched the movie, and we're going to read the book now. And I don't know how closely they are related. Like, I don't know if they're the same story or if there are differences or what, but we're going to read that, and I will likely start that one soon. So, and then I think actually we picked our book for my family book club as well. We're about to read Steelheart by Brandon Sanderson, which I don't know a ton about, so we'll see. We'll start that one probably soon as well. So that's what I am reading right now. And then, yeah, I think that's pretty much all we've been up to. We just kind of planned to take a weekend trip in a couple weeks. We're going to go to the North Cascades National Park, which we have never been to. So there are 3 national parks in Washington: Mount Rainier, the Olympics, like Olympic National Park, and North Cascades National Park. And we have been to Rainier and the Olympics, but we have not ever been to Cascades. So we really wanted to take a trip there. It seems like it's a little bit of a different vibe as far as national parks go. Like, I don't think you can, Noffice was saying that you can't like drive into the park. There are like recreational areas outside of the park that are not technically part of the national park, and you can like drive up and park there and, start your hike there, but most of the entrances into the park are via hike. So, you're on a hiking trail, and then you just like all of a sudden are in the national park. So that'll be really fun. We're going to go for a weekend. We're going to do some hikes there. I think there's also some really beautiful lakes in the area. So we may try to like kayak or like do some other fun like water lake type activities. But I think it's going to be really fun. We went to a whole bunch of national parks with my family earlier this summer, and yeah, I just, really enjoy. I'm definitely a completionist, so I like to, check them off the list, like go through and visit a lot of the national parks. And also just given that we live so close to this one, I think it'll be really fun to visit. So yeah, that's coming up in a couple weeks. And yeah, I think that's pretty much all I had to share about today. So thank you so much. If you lasted this long, I know I was maybe a little bit extra chatty today. There was a lot of stuff to cover. Stuff at the beginning, all the knitting stuff. I had some life updates to share with you all. So thank you so much for tuning in. And again, just if you've been following along and like watching the podcast or like following me on Instagram, all the comments, all the messages that I get, I just really love. I love like feeling connected to y'all. And it's been so much fun to share my knitting in this way. So I really appreciate, anyone who watches or, participates in any way, engages in any way. Thank you so much. And yeah, I hope you do lots of knitting and watch lots of baseball and have a great week. Bye.